For decades, audiences have watched him disappear into unforgettable characters. Gangsters, loners, heroes, and broken men. On screen, he seemed fearless, almost untouchable. But behind the legendary performances, behind the awards and iconic films, there was another story quietly unfolding. Because fame, as it turns out, comes with a cost. And now, at 87 years old, Robert De Niro has begun reflecting on the hidden price that decades in Hollywood demanded from his life. To understand that cost, you have to go back to where it all began. Robert De Niro was born in 1943 in the heart of New York City, raised in the creative yet challenging neighborhood of Greenwich Village. His parents were artists, painters who believed deeply in expression and independence. But when De Niro was just a child, they separated, leaving him to grow up in a world that was both culturally rich and emotionally complex. Friends from his early years later remembered a quiet boy who preferred observing people rather than talking. He studied behavior, gestures, emotions. In many ways, the future actor was already learning his craft. By his teenage years, De Niro had begun pursuing acting seriously. He studied at prestigious institutions like the Actors Studio and trained under legendary acting teacher Lee Strasberg. There he immersed himself in method acting, a demanding approach that required actors to dig deep into their own emotions to create authentic performances. But success didn't arrive overnight. For years, De Niro took small roles in low-budget films, slowly building a reputation among directors who recognized his unusual intensity. Then everything changed. In 1973, he starred in Mean Streets, directed by the rising filmmaker Martin Scorsese. The film introduced audiences to De Niro's raw energy and magnetic presence. But it was only the beginning. Just 1 year later, De Niro delivered a performance that stunned Hollywood. In The Godfather Part II, he portrayed a young Vito Corleone, a role originally made famous by Marlon Brando. The performance earned De Niro an Academy Award and instantly elevated him into Hollywood's elite. But behind the rising fame, the pressures of his craft were already becoming clear. According to people who worked closely with him, De Niro approached every role with obsessive dedication. For Taxi Driver, he reportedly spent weeks driving a Real New York taxi to understand the mindset of his character. For Raging Bull, he underwent an extreme physical transformation, gaining significant weight to portray the aging boxer Jake LaMotta. Those who worked on the set later remembered how completely De Niro disappeared into his roles. But that level of commitment came with a personal cost. Many believe that the deeper he immersed himself in characters, the more he withdrew from public life. De Niro became famously private, rarely giving interviews and avoiding the spotlight outside his work. There were also moments that shaped how the industry viewed him. His long creative partnership with director Martin Scorsese produced some of the most influential films in cinema history, including Goodfellas and Casino. Yet according to insiders, the intense process of creating such powerful films demanded relentless focus and emotional investment. Over time, the line between art and personal life sometimes blurred. Looking back now, De Niro has occasionally acknowledged that fame can isolate even the most successful performers. The long hours on set, the pressure to deliver unforgettable performances, and the constant public attention can quietly reshape a person's life. Yet those sacrifices also helped define a legacy. Decades after his breakthrough, De Niro remains one of the most respected actors in the history of Hollywood. His work influenced generations of performers and filmmakers, redefining what realism in acting could look like on screen. Today, as he reflects on his extraordinary career, the lesson seems deeper than fame or awards. Because the true cost of greatness often isn't measured in headlines, but in the personal sacrifices that happen behind the scenes. And perhaps that's the real story behind Robert De Niro's legendary journey. Sometimes the most powerful performances come from the parts of life audiences never see. What do you think about Robert De Niro's incredible career and the sacrifices behind his success? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more cinematic documentaries about the untold stories behind Hollywood legends. Clapperboard.